In a world of ice and iron, where the whims of the gods could decide a harvest or a battle, the Vikings sought answers in the threads of fate itself. To read those threads, they turned not to kings or warriors, but to a figure of immense power and mystery. The Völva, the Seeress of the North. She was a wanderer, a woman who existed outside the traditional bonds of family and clan. She would arrive at a settlement unannounced, a striking figure wrapped in a dark blue or black cloak, often adorned with animal furs and stones. In her hand, she clutched her most important tool, a staff, known as a seiðstafr, often topped with brass or carved with intricate symbols. This staff was no mere walking stick. It was the conduit for her power, the focus of the magical art known as Seiðr. Around her waist, she carried a leather pouch, a portable collection of her secrets, strange seeds, animal bones, and potent herbs, the physical ingredients for her spiritual craft. The Völva was not simply a fortune teller, she was a professional practitioner of magic, a spiritual specialist whose services were sought by the most powerful members of society. When a community faced a crisis, a famine, a plague, or the looming threat of war, they would call upon the Völva to perform her ritual. A high seat, a special platform, would be constructed for her in the center of the longhouse. As the settlement's people gathered, an air of tense anticipation would fill the firelit hall. The ceremony was a communal effort. The Völva would ascend her platform, and the ritual would begin. To enter her trance, to journey into the spirit world to retrieve knowledge, she required a special song, a haunting melody called the Varðlokur. Often, she could not perform this song herself, and needed the help of other women in the community to create the spiritual energy necessary to open the way. As the otherworldly chant filled the air, the Völva's consciousness would drift from her body. In this state, she communed with spirits and gods, peering into the tangled web of destiny woven by the Norns. She sought answers to the community's most pressing questions. Would the crops fail? Would the coming raid be successful? Who would live, and who would die? The Saga of Erik the Red gives us a stunningly detailed account of one such seeress, Þorbjörg, known as the Little Völva. Facing a severe famine in Greenland, the settlers summoned her. She arrived in her blue cloak and lambskin hood, carrying her staff and pouch of charms. After being treated with immense respect and fed a special meal, she performed her Seiðr, and with the help of a young Christian woman's song, she foresaw that the famine would end, bringing relief and cementing her own powerful reputation. This story reveals the Völva's unique place in Viking society. She was an outsider, yet she was welcomed into the heart of the community and given the highest honors. Chieftains and jarls, the leaders of the Norse world, depended on her insight. Her prophecies could shift alliances, launch fleets, and determine the fate of entire settlements. She held a power that rivaled and in many ways surpassed that of the axe and the sword. But her power was a double-edged sword. A Völva who could bless a harvest could just as easily blight it. One who could prophesy victory in battle could also lay a curse upon a chieftain's enemies. This made her both essential and deeply feared. To disrespect a Völva was to risk ruin, not just for oneself, but for one's entire family line. She walked a fine line between reverence and terror. For a long time, these accounts were viewed as mere legend, the stuff of epic poems. But archaeology has begun to reveal the truth behind the sagas. Across Scandinavia, graves have been unearthed that seem to belong to these powerful women. The most famous is the Fyrkat burial in Denmark, where a woman was interred with a long iron staff, a pouch of henbane seeds, a known hallucinogen, and items from across the known world, signifying a person of immense status. These graves lend physical weight to the stories, suggesting that the Völva was a very real and influential figure. She was the keeper of ancient knowledge, a bridge between the world of humans and the realm of gods and spirits. But this era could not last. With the slow, steady arrival of Christianity in the north, the old ways began to fade. The new religion had no place for a pagan seeress who communed with spirits. The Völva's power was recast as demonic, her Seiðr as black magic. The revered prophetess was slowly transformed in the popular imagination into the malevolent witch of folklore. The high seat in the longhouse was replaced by the church pulpit, and the Völva's staff was broken. She was more than a prophet. She was a weaver of reality, a counselor to chieftains, and a keeper of the deepest secrets of the Norse world. And though her time has passed, the echo of her voice still whispers from the sagas, a testament to the woman who held destiny in her hands.